White America thought they elected a savior, but God sent them their judgment. November 2024, you watched the election results roll in. You saw white America celebrating in the streets. You heard them chanting his name. You watched them worship at the altar of their golden idol. They thought they were crowning their champion. They had no idea they were signing their own death warrant. Here's what they don't want you to know. Here's what the mainstream media will never tell you. Here's the truth that's been hidden in plain sight. Donald Trump is not white America's savior. He is God's instrument of their destruction. Let me show you something that will blow your mind. In 2024, 21% of black men voted for Donald Trump. That's more than double what he got in previous elections. You heard that right. Black men, the sons of the enslaved, the descendants of those who suffered under white supremacy for 400 years, they helped put Trump back in the White House. And white America celebrated. They thought they were winning. But here's what they didn't see. Here's what their blind eyes couldn't comprehend. God was orchestrating the greatest act of divine justice in modern history. He was using the very people they oppressed to deliver their judgment. He was turning their victory celebration into a funeral march. And they were too drunk on their own pride to even notice. Look at what's happening right now in America. Trump's policies are tearing apart the very fabric of white middle-class life. His tariffs are crushing small business owners in rural white communities. His mass deportation plans are creating labor shortages that are destroying white-owned farms and factories. His economic chaos is wiping out retirement savings for white suburban families who thought they were safe. His dismantling of federal agencies is eliminating jobs that white college graduates depend on. Everything they built is crumbling. Everything they trusted is collapsing. Everything they believed in is turned to dust. And the random chaos. No, this is prophecy. This is divine judgment using the wicked to punish the wicked. This is the rod of God's anger. And white America is about to feel every strike. You saw the headlines. Trump dismantles DEI programs. Trump rolls back civil rights protections. Trump appoints judges who will set justice back 50 years. And white America cheered. They thought he was hurting us. They thought he was protecting them. They had no idea that every single policy, every single executive order, every single decision was a nail in their own coffin. The whole world is watching America isolate itself. Allies are turned away. Economic partners are finding new arrangements. The global south is rising while America falls. And Trump is accelerating it all with a smile on his face and a red hat on his head. What if I told you this exact scenario was written 3,000 years ago? What if I told you the Bible predicted a nation would be judged by its own idol? What if I told you that God has a pattern of using oppressors to destroy oppressors and then destroying the instrument he used? What if everything you're watching on the news right now is the fulfillment of ancient prophecy? White America wanted a white supremacist strongman. God said, fine. Here he is. Have him. Let him destroy you from the inside out. Let him dismantle everything your ancestors built. Let him isolate you from the world. Let him crash your economy. Let him expose your hypocrisy. Let him be the face of your judgment. This is not politics. This is spiritual warfare. This is not about Democrat versus Republican. This is about the God of justice settling accounts with a nation built on stolen land, slave labor, and innocent blood. This is about 400 years of oppression coming due. This is about the chickens coming home to roost. This is about divine vengeance wrapped in a red tie and delivered through the ballot box. And the most beautiful part, white America has no idea what's happening to them. They're still cheering. They're still celebrating. They're like Pharaoh hardening his heart while the plagues destroy Egypt all around him. They're like Belshazzar partying while the writing appears on the wall. They're like Babylon.
I agree with some of that. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, you guys all know who watch my channel. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I got a 45-minute 10 super chat goal if if you're feeling generous. like I was saying, if you watch my channel, you know I'm not a big fan of Trump, but I do like populists. Like I like Bernie Sanders. I think politicians should work for a popular position, like Social Security, Medicare for all, you know, and even if AI becomes what they think it's going to be and end all our jobs. I mean, my job's safe because I work with my hands, but how about the rest of you guys? White collar workers, what if 40,000 white collar workers, not drivers, 40,000 Amazon white collar workers got handed their walking papers today. And that's the second batch of 40,000 that, I think the first was 50,000 that got laid off. And it's not all because of AI, but it's partially because of AI. And they even said in the manager's notes, you know, the notes from top down to the managers, that they're going to have to make up for the lack of work, substitute for the lack of employees by using AI. What do you guys think about that? Comment, leave a super chat. We got 45 minutes here. I got a 45-minute 10 super chat goal. Thanks for the like. Subscribe. You don't have to buy a super chat. That's just there to support the channel. But if you like my channel, go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, hit the bell. The SpinCycle is here to inform you the latest news. TikTok. What do you guys think about what's going on with TikTok? I don't know. I've been reading a lot about, you know, TikTok influencers or creators. You know, one I know, Hawk. I don't know if you guys follow him. Some of you must have seen him. He's got like a million followers on TikTok. They just canceled his channel. He's a total progressive left-wing channel. So if you don't know, TikTok was forced into a cell last year by Trump, but it originated with Biden. You know, during the Biden administration, Congress passed a law that TikTok was going to be banned from the U.S. And then instead of actually, Biden signed the law, but instead of actually implementing the law, he made it go into effect, you know, January 20th, 2025, inauguration day for Trump. And when Trump came in, he saw an opportunity to take over a huge media platform. So what he did was he delayed, you know, without Congress's approval, because Congress passed the law and Biden signed it, he delayed the takeover of TikTok until he worked out a deal with TikTok, ByteDance, TikTok's parent company. He worked out a deal with ByteDance to have his friends, the Ellisons, buy the American version of TikTok. And now they bought it. They took over ownership this week, and they're canceling, you know, they're canceling anything that's said about Trump that they don't like, because they're big Zionists. In fact, anything, and this is going back a ways with TikTok, anybody who uses Zionist in a derogatory way, in other words, saying, oh, the Ellisons are Zionists, so they're bad. Anybody using it in a derogatory way is, or they're not banned, but they'll be, you know, they'll be demonetized or whatever. But now they're just outright canceling people's channels who talk about, you know, the genocide in Gaza, anything bad about Trump, ICE, anything bad about ICE is getting canceled. So you like that or you don't like it? I don't understand. Hi, what kind of person is this? The flesh and blood kind. What kind of person are you? The red hat wearing kind? I made cookies. All right. You made cookies for what? Everybody likes a
I was on
cookie.
Laura Ingram last night. Thank you to the 20 people that tried to let me know beforehand. Unfortunately, my parents were watching that broadcast live.
I'm going through my For You feed here on TikTok just to see how many people are shadow banned. It doesn't seem like people are being shadow banned, so I don't even know. Let me see.
Okay, I fucked up. I really fucked up. Here it is. I'm gonna be honest. I voted for the current president. Yeah, I did that. And yeah, I regret it. Here's the thing. I don't know what would have been different had the other person running.
Cookie and a glass of milk. Hell yeah. Sounds like my childhood.
This is not supposed to be generally a politicized channel.
Chocolate chip cookies.
I'm frankly not really informed enough on the topic. But generally speaking, like, my fiscal ideologies align best with what he was proposing, and yeah, we fucked up. Like, this guy is out of control. It's wild. Like, you talk about dystopian. We're snatching presidents now? Like, okay, I fucked.
See, I understand people that voted for Trump because of immigration, because, he is doing a good job on immigration as far as closing the border. It's kind of crazy what's going on in Minnesota. The shooting, that wasn't Trump, but it was, the ICE guys, and totally uncalled for. However, my main issue with Trump is he's done nothing about my economy. I mean, I'm just a middle class, I'm a federal worker, so first of all, he came at us hard with, the Elon Musk Doge garbage. But beside that, I didn't get fired, I kept my job. I work every day, I'm out in the field as a ranger, and, rangers are essential for federal lands. So, the people that lost their jobs are more like white collar workers. I spent about a day a week in an office out of a, 5-day week. However, like groceries for me, I live in Colorado, groceries are way, way, way up. I mean, and they went up during Biden, and yeah, there was bad inflation, there was, the plandemic, as Trump likes to call it, which I don't think it was planned, but anyway, there was crazy inflation during that, yes, and Biden brought the inflation down to 3%, which is still high. It's still 3%, but groceries never went down, right? I could have sworn Trump said 1,000,000 times at all his rallies that groceries were going to go down. Congratulations, K-Dog, on your new job. Always a great feeling to get hired. I've had like hundreds of jobs throughout my life. I'm kind of a renaissance man. I've done construction, I've done guiding, I've done, all kinds of stuff. White collar jobs, shoe salesman, what else? Fast food worker when I was a teenager. So that's great. You got a job. You're not gonna be homeless anymore. I've been homeless myself. I wouldn't call it homeless. I lived in a van, when I was a RAF guide for several years. So I did have my van. Actually, I started out living in a Honda Civic, but the van was like an upgrade. But that was in Colorado, living in the mountains. It's kind of a nice place to be homeless. I wouldn't want to be homeless in like New York City. Good joke. Okay, guys, let's keep going through this feed.
You told me that you voted for President Trump in 2024. Do you regret that decision? ¿Te arrepientes esa decisión?
Yes, 100%.
Why do you regret that decision?
That's because it's nothing that's true. That's not true. He said he go to catch the delinquentes. Criminals. Yeah. And right now,
Delinquents?
he don't follow the criminals. He go to specific to Latino people. The DSS come specific to me and catch to me. Not other people. Because don't care to other people. Specific Latino people.
You told me that you voted for President.
Yeah, I'll always be baffled, but you know, I'm not Latino, but I'll always kind of be baffled why they voted for Trump. I know Latinos care about the border, but I mean, after his, you know, he made his name on the national stage by, you know, saying he was going to throw brown people out of the country. Hello, Naz Mihar, how are you? We're 17 minutes into my 45-minute super chat goal, guys. So if you feel so inclined, I know everybody's broke, send a super chat.
The reason you're not making any money on TikTok anymore is because the Creator Rewards program ran out of money. Yeah, that's the honest truth. The only money is going to large, top-tier creators like an Alex Earl or Michaela.
I don't know who Alex Earl and Michaela is, but I didn't make money on there anyway, so. Okay, let's see what my
I was on Laura Ingraham last night. Thank you to the 20 people that tried to let me know beforehand.
I haven't watched this video, so I have no idea what she's
Watching that
gonna say.
broadcast live.
I have no idea who
I
this
get a lot of
is.
comments from people saying that they're very proud of me and they know my parents are too. And I hate to break it to you, but my parents are actually very much ashamed of me. In fact, my entire adult family is very ashamed of my political views. And that makes no difference to me. This is not a sob story of my life. I'm very ashamed of their choices as well. But my father texted me to ask, why did I see you on Laura Ingraham? Are you a part of one of these groups? And I will say to you exactly what I said to him. So Fox News, if you want to broadcast anything, put this on my tombstone. I am a part of no group. I am an American. I believe in freedom and equality for everyone. I do not care about your immigration status. I care about the content of your heart because I don't serve an earthly king. I am no lame dog. I am no blind sheep, and I will bend no knee to no tyrant. And I would rather see America burn down than this terroristic administration succeed. And that's exactly how I feel about it. There's your news clip. I was on Lord.
Mangione.
What are you doing here?
The Supreme Court drops.
Wow, that's some crazy AI, huh? I've played around with AI a little bit, but I haven't been able to make anything like that. I did 12 years service for the United Peace Corps. I came home from Afghanistan and my landlord died and they knocked his house down. I lived in a room in his house. 12 years in the Peace Corps in Afghanistan. Good for you. I kind of was interested in going in the Peace Corps after college, but I had too much college debt to go at the time. No one knew I was paying cash up front. That sucks. What's your new job? $25 left on my super chat, guys. If you feel so inclined, we only have 4 watchers. I guess it's probably pretty late, the middle of the night. Supreme Court drops a bombshell. Trump given 72 hours to act. George Will.
The bombshell. Trump given 72 hours to act. The Supreme Court just issued a ruling so unprecedented that constitutional scholars are calling it the most significant check on presidential power
I think that's AI.
in over 50.
Well, baby, thanks to these here interwebs, every day I learn something new about the not-so-weeping widow. You know who I'm talking about, baby.
This should be interesting.
Yes, little Erica Kirk
Erica
over
Kirk.
there at Turncoat USA. Baby, these turncoats. Anyway, now I'm going to tell you a few things that I did already know, and then I'm going to drop some on you that I did not know. It's in the brew. Firstly, she's a liar, and we all do that. She likes to get up there on TV and tell you she's never drank alcohol and she didn't date anybody before Charlie, and she forgot that the whole world knew she was on an actual fucking dating show getting drunk as fuck on every episode. Not to mention the fact today that the new guy that's up there speaking for Turning Point USA is her ex-boyfriend who had beef with Charlie back in the day. Ooh, baby, it's messy as hell, honey. As the turning coats turn, baby. Anyway, what I did not know about Miss Erica Kirk is that she just so happens to be the granddaughter of immigrants. It gets so much fucking better. Her grandfather immigrated here from Sweden. So much like little baby Nosferatu, Stephen Miller, yeah, bitch, you wouldn't even be here if the world was underneath your policies for immigration, baby. You would be deported expeditiously. You want to do away with birthright citizenship? Okay, that includes you, you fucking fool. Anyway, so that was happy for me to know, but this takes the fucking cake today because this goddamn hoe ain't even 100% white. No, baby, she is Syrian and Lebanese. You heard that correctly. Yes, baby. She carries Syrian and Lebanese genes from her grandmother.
Oh, you're working for the Red Cross. Good for you. Driving the donation bus. I have also been you must have a CDL then, right? I have also been a driver before. I drove a truck in New York when I was 18. I drove when I was 20. I drove like a courier van in New York. Then I left New York to finish my college in Colorado and never went back to New York. So yeah, I think that's all the driving jobs I ever had. Besides, when I was a RAF guy, I drove the bus all the time. But again, that was illegally without a CDL. But you know, when your boss leaves an empty bus at the takeout of your RAF trip for you to shuttle back, you got to do what you got to do. Oklahoma City, huh? One of my good friends in Colorado is from Oklahoma. He's from Tulsa, I think. Been through Oklahoma. I haven't really spent much time there. I did go kayaking there one time with another friend of mine on the Tulsa Wave. There's a good wave on the Arkansas River there at the kayak surf.
Now, you may not know why I stated quite clearly that they're from her grandmother, dear, but a Zionist will tell you, if it wasn't your mother who was a Jew, then you're not a Jew. So, by your own Zionist definition, bitch, you ain't white, you ain't Swedish either. You're Syrian and Lebanese. I'm just saying, baby. I'm just saying. You can't make this shit up, honey. My. These fucking guys.
If 97% of engineers said a bridge was going to fall down and 3% said it was going to stay up, it would be a little absurd to listen to that 3%. Then why is it that 97% of scientists believe that climate change is occurring, yet few in the community and even less in the government choose to accept this fact? Is this a problem with communication by scientists or a problem with ignorant non-scientists advocating distorted facts?
I think there's a
As a scientist, I could answer that. Yes, I'm a geologist. It's ignorant non-scientists advocating for distorted facts. Climate change is absolutely real, and if anybody who thinks that is not true yet, I mean, the proof is all around you. Take this last cold spell in the U.S. and the hurricanes in North Carolina last year. I mean, when was the last time hurricanes flooded North Carolina? Because the ocean waters are so warm now. Hurricanes carry so much rain. The Waffle House, it's grilling, it smells delicious. I'm hungry, and I guess I will get up and go change my phone. I got enough for a coffee. Bummer, dude. I haven't been to a Waffle House in years, but I used to go all the time when I used to kayak down in the south there. Okay, let's go to my favorite. My favorite Reddit feed. Okay, about 20 minutes left on my super chat goal. Anybody? Okay, as a Mexican American, and I'm stating this because I'm in the middle of all of this. Being a Republican has cost me everything. Probably 85% of my family don't like me anymore, and I have to stop following me on social media, and I don't get invited to family functions. I'm gonna give him a pass on those phonetics because it's his second language. They see me as a traitor to my race. As a Mexican, my family is everything. So you can only imagine how much the situation hurts my heart. I myself know that Republicans and Democrats are all guilty of a lot of horrible laws that don't serve the American people on other elections. When I horrible because I absolutely hated him because of what I would see in the news. I get offended on how he spoke about immigrants. Believe me, I get that point. But as a conservative Christian mother, there was no way I would vote for a party that funds Planned Parenthood to kill babies, blah, blah, blah. All this killing babies. Second, I have lived in Compton, South Central Long Beach, California. I come from the ghetto. I have lived around the mentality of the government has to take care of us. I went to school with people living in the projects. I want to share with you what I once witnessed. It was my senior year, and a student asked a bunch of us, "What are you doing after you graduate?" And one of my friends stated, "Well, my grandma already told me that the path for me should be to have a baby because if I do, the government will house me and give me food stamps to buy food. That's what's wrong with this system." I've also witnessed families with a food cart full of junk food. These women are all dressed up with their nails done and yelling at their children. They don't even care what they're feeding them. That's what's wrong with the system. Another thing that was heavy on my heart is human trafficking, and I know that was one of President Trump's priorities. President Trump was best friends with one of the most notorious human traffickers in history, Jeffrey Epstein. That is insane that somebody would vote for Trump to stop human trafficking. What's he covering up right now? One of the biggest human trafficking rings in American history. Another thing that was heavy on my heart was Trump's priorities. As a human, that makes me super happy that he was willing to address this serious issue and try to eradicate it with secure borders. By the second time I voted for Trump, I could see the truth on how the they did was painting him as, I don't know what? Was painting him as the villain. Because he is a villain. The third time I voted for Trump, I knew he is the chosen one to eradicate the corrupt politicians. See, what a lot of people don't understand is that we are fighting a spiritual battle. Oh, fuck off. Spiritual battle. Trump is not a spiritual person. He's a piece of shit. USA has been given the authority from up above. Oh, fuck off with your God bullshit. You and your imaginary friends. To either go into war or to fight for peace. Look at what Trump just did for the Venezuelan people. He just liberated them. Venezuelan people, he did not. They're still living under the same corrupt regime they were living under. He just took out Maduro because he didn't like Maduro making fun of him with his dances. Trump only does shit for Trump. He doesn't do anything for other people. Venezuela people living in one of the most richest, I could see she's so intelligent, one of the most richest country in gas reserves. They were the poorest because of the corrupt government that was governing them. Not a lot of Americans know, but they were so poor they would eat food from the trash and even eat animals from the streets just to stay alive. Please understand that when we give too much power to the government, they take over. That is modern day slavery. They give the people crumbs to keep them content while they mastermind how to have us working, to tax us to the point that we are only keeping 20% of our paychecks maybe. Look at California. We are governed by the Democrat Party. Look at our streets. They already look like a third world country full of people living in the streets. We pay the highest gas taxes and inflation. People to wake up before we too become the socialist country. Modern day slavery. They give the people crumbs to keep them content while they mastermind how to have us working, to tax us to the point that we are only keeping 20% of our paychecks maybe. Look at Cal. She's repeating. We must remain together and see that Trump is eradicating the government swap, period. And it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat governor. If they are rats, they're out. I think she meant they are out, not they are out. To conclude, I voted for Trump because I believe God should be put first. That's the dumbest fucking reason I ever heard in my life. Family values are of the essence. I don't support communism or socialism. That is the agenda the Democrats have going on right now. I don't believe in big pharma. I don't believe in heavy taxation on the American people. I don't think people should be allowed to live of the system so that the Democrat get a vote. I believe in the American dream just like my immigrant parents did. Work hard and don't accept handouts. That Latino woman is delusional. Trump just doubled down on saying we don't have 2A rights, Second Amendment rights. The NRA has donated millions to Trump's campaign since 2016. Yeah, conveniently, now that it's not in their best interest, the Republicans, they don't want people to carry guns anymore. These young voters are starting to regret their vote for Trump. After nearly winning the group in 2024, the president is losing support among voters ages 18 to 29. Alicia Morales was all in for the MAGA movement. The 21-year-old cast her first presidential vote for Trump in 2024 and soon built up Republican credentials, leading her Indiana College Turning Point USA chapter as vice president and serving as a national committee woman for the College Republicans of America for the state. But after seeing videos of deportations posted by the Trump administration, by Trump administration officials, and the killing of Alex Preti in Minneapolis, Morales, a granddaughter of a Mexican immigrant, says her support for Trump is at a newfound low. She said she is also disturbed by Trump's foreign entanglements, including with Israel, and has left both her posts at TPUSA, the youth outreach organization founded by Charlie Kirk, and the College Republicans of America. This is not the party I once signed up for and registered to be in, said the St. Mary's College Junior. Yes, it is. That's the exact thing it is. That's the exact party you signed up for. Did you get your coffee at the Waffle House? ICE can't find my husband. Yeah, I read about that later. Trump's net approval among Latinos. 1 year ago, -5 points. Now, -28 points. I mean, that doesn't really surprise me. Does it surprise anybody that he's not doing good among Latinos? Trump supporters who finally woke up from the MAGA cult in 2026 are revealing their last straw. Trump's America is not the America that I took an oath to defend with my life. It is embarrassing, and I feel lost because of what we let him devolve us into. My ex-wife immigrated from Peru on a K-1 visa and is now a U.S. citizen. I found out through the kids that she voted for Trump. Over the last several years, she got heavily into Candace Owens. At some point, a conversation came up about how my ex voted. Her explanation was that Kamala wants to give everything away to people for free so they don't have to work. I didn't berate her or attack her. I calmly explained why I did not vote for Trump and left it at that. Fast forward to what's happening now in Minneapolis, she called me in tears, genuinely scared that she might be deported. I reminded her that she is a citizen, no more or less than anyone else. I did suggest she carry her passport with her, just in case she were stopped and questioned. I also took the opportunity to gently point out that what Trump is doing now is not surprising, given that he openly stated he intended to do exactly this. She no longer supports him. What breaks my heart is that there are so many people, many of whom are not racist or terrible, who truly believe what he says. They are constantly inundated with propaganda and it shapes their reality. The wild thing is that we live in Minneapolis. I was born and raised here, and yet it took over 3,000 ICE agents and 2 deaths for her to wake up. I consider myself a moderate liberal Democrat. I disagree with many issues within my own party, and I'm critical when criticism is warranted. But nothing compares to what Trump has done. Now he has fueled normalized a hate-based ideology that people become engulfed in. It shows how people in positions of power have a tendency to use whatever means necessary to maintain that power. Fear, misinformation, division. We are witnessing someone who is completely untamable, and we are seeing the destruction that follows. Hilltop View. Hot take, the National Rifle Association agrees with Governor Newsom. You reap what you sow. The dumbest voters. The dumbest voters on earth. Voting for Trump and regretting it. Sharif, the Medina Mall shop owner who fears she may have to return to the bad old days of having a boss, gave out an exasperated sigh. Would you believe if I told you I voted for this man, she said, referring to Trump? Sharif is not politically active, but in 2024, some campaigners came to her shop and told her that Trump would be good for business and against the LGBTQ agenda. I was immediately hooked, she said. She voted Republican for the first time. Now chagrined, she said, I never thought the man I put in office would come from my family, make me financially struggle, and cause me so much fear that I carry my passport when I go to the bathroom, she said, pointing at the mall's bathrooms. I feel as though the weapon I built is coming to kill me and my people, she said. Yeah, that sounds about right. The weapon she built, she put into office. Do you support, bro? Seeing who's working. Do you support Google's cybersecurity employees replaying on YouTube and social media as content, or role-playing, as content creators and chat users worldwide? I don't really know what you're talking about. Three minutes and 14 seconds left on my goal of 10 super chats. Anyone? There's only one person watching. Okay. Well, we got 3 minutes left, guys. So, or guy, or gal, the one person watching. Yes, I think Jeff E. really did it. I know he did. There's just too much evidence that Epstein can't be innocent. I think, although I think his molesting young girls was like his side hustle, and he was like a spy, or maybe like a double agent for the Mossad and the U.S. government. He definitely had, he was an arms dealer too. Okay, everybody's gone. We got 2 minutes left. No, he definitely didn't kill himself. People forget that Trump was president when he got killed in prison. I mean, that's all too convenient for Trump, right? And we all know that when Trump's president, he has full control of the government. Big C had something to do with that? Who's Big C? Clinton? Clinton had no power when... He had something to do with the Epstein stuff for sure, but Trump had a lot to do with it too. And a lot of people did. Larry Summers, King, or Prince Edward, Prince Andrew. Sorry, Prince Edward. Prince Andrew was, highly involved. No vitamin C. Big C had some. No vitamin C. I don't get it. Okay, guys, one more. Let's see what we got here. A Cuban-born podcast in Miami named El Oski with Donald Trump tattoo is now facing deportation. Yeah, I saw this. Look at this guy's tattoo. I don't even have any tattoos because I was in a tattoo parlor once as a kid. Not a kid, but like 18 with my friends. We were drinking and stuff with 3 of my friends, and they all got tattoos, and I chickened out at the last minute because I was like, I didn't want to pick something out of a book and put it on my body for the next 80 years or whatever. And this guy got a full picture of Donald Trump on his chest. I mean, I don't care if it was somebody I was in love with. I would not get their portrait on my chest. My mother, nobody. That's just insane. I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, guys, I'm done with my 45 minutes. Go ahead and subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, comment, and I will see you next live stream.